Guys, we're probably going to be changing back to Tech Syndicate, so just watch things start to change. We tried crit for a while. Audience was like, I expected the audience to be like, cool, crit, I understand, it's a 4-letter word, it means crit like in games and tabletop and all that stuff. I guess I underestimated the fact that everyone loved Tech Syndicate, the brand, the name, the sort of Syndicate feel. Sorry we didn't think you guys were going to mind as much as you did, and the other thing is the YouTube algorithm's really messed up, and some people have been telling us on the inside that changing back our name might help fix the algorithm. So we might do that. Just a heads up, you may see social media and stuff change. May take a couple more days for the website to change back, but hey, we'll do it for you guys. And as far as me scratching the itch of, one of the reasons why we became Crit was because I was like, you know what? We're playing with all this hardware and I'm bored. I want to use the hardware to make games, make music, play games, play music, that sort of thing. And I wanted to sort of focus on that. I will scratch that itch by, we're going to wank our game, make music and do all that sort of stuff. So we're still going to have a lot of fun behind the scenes. Maybe we'll start using the Beer Games Beer channel again, but Tech Syndicate. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't watch the content that's outside of hardware, and I'd like to take just a second here to say, guys, go watch it. It's a lot of fun for us to make, and I think that we mix in enough of the culture with enough of the nerdy stuff to sort of reach a happy medium. And in fact, in the last video, we went to Game Trader, and we found some stuff there that I have never seen in person before. So first off, let's show you some of this stuff. This is the Apple Pippin. Check this thing out. This is the Pippin Controller. Whoa! It's like holding a very uncomfortable boomerang.
Yeah.
These buttons are... Oh.
And that's actually a trackpad that you can use, so.
Wow. That thing makes a Mad Catz feel nice.
This, I feel like I have to scrunch my shoulders.
Look at the two positions of these two. It's right at the tip of your fingers, though. It's it doesn't... But it makes it difficult to hold the... Where these are makes it difficult to grip the sides.
Plus there's these guys down here.
And a scroll wheel, or a trackball in the middle. So this trackball was because they released a lot of CD-ROM games, the Journeyman Project and stuff. Mm-hmm. So you had these, a couple of click adventures. There weren't very many games released for this, not many at all. But it's Apple Bandai Pippin. These could also function as a thin client for some of the Apple stuff out there, but they weren't really used as that much. They weren't really used that much at all. 42,000 of them sold. Discontinued a year later, 96 to 97. One of the guys there loves this controller. So the positioning on the back for your L and R button are toward the middle, so they'll be all the way at the tip of your extended fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird spot, shaped like a boomerang.
It's got the trackball in the middle, which is kind of a thing.
Yeah, the thing was designed to actually run some Apple software, some actual Macintosh learning software and stuff, but it didn't really do. They tried to make it for kind of both worlds, and it didn't really do a good job with software, and it didn't really do a good job with games. It was just there.
It feels like a controller for someone that maybe has a third hand.
And it uses Skittles for buttons.
Yeah.
So lastly, we talked to the guys over there. I was curious as to what the most extreme purchase was. Someone showing up, so. You got a lot of people coming from all over the place to buy games. What's the farthest that you've heard of as far as someone coming here to buy a game?
The furthest is probably Alaska. We get people that come from Alaska 2 times a year. They come with duffel bags and they just fill them up and head back, yeah.
Man, I guess we don't have stuff like this. Okay, what's the craziest story you've heard?
The craziest story we had is next door we used to have a Donkey Kong competition cartridge for the Super Nintendo.
How much are those, 1,000, 1,500?
Yeah, it's up there. I think we sold ours for $1,700. And the guy saw it on our Facebook and he called us and he was like, I want that. Can I get it shipped to us? And we were like, well, we're just a storefront and sending something that expensive through the mail is not something I wanted to deal with. Right. So he said, okay, I'm coming. So
did you guys set it aside for him at least?
I didn't set it aside because I didn't think he would show up. Because I get asked all the time about it. It's do you have one? And I was like, yeah, I have one. And then no one would show up.
And an hour later, they sober up and they're like, I can't spend $1,700 even though I want it so bad.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But this guy he came.
Yeah, a day went by and he showed up in the store and he was like, I bought a plane ticket. I came from Southern California. Sell me that. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I scanned it and I was like, man, how are you going to pay for this? He's like, I got a card. And I was like, that's going to lock your card. And he was like, no, I talked to my bank. They guaranteed me it wouldn't lock my card because I flew here to do this. And I was like, cool. And I ran it and it locked his card.
Did he end up getting it?
He did, yeah. He called his bank. He got real mad and called his bank and they unlocked his card and we got him set. He got a shirt, he got a picture, and then
he played it. The guy came all the way here.
Yeah, all the way here.
Wow.
Yeah, and we get that all the time. Idaho, California, New York, like people, oh yeah, I guess New York would be the first that someone's come.
Yeah.
But,
Maybe some of our audience from Europe will come over and grab some stuff.
come on down. We'll get you some stuff. Loopy, Pippin, we got you.
All right, so that was from our culture stuff. Let's go ahead and go through this. So Atari has a new console.
Yes. So
Speaking of consoles.
Yeah, speaking of consoles, for the first time since like 1996, which is when the Jaguar was officially like put to an end,
Yep.
Atari is going to be putting out a new gaming console. They haven't said too much about it yet, other than it's going to be based off of PC software and hardware and stuff like that. So, and if they showed in the video, is that it's going to have that classic veneer vinyl wood feel to it, much like the 2600 did.
Wow, look at that.
So they're doing shoutouts, but they haven't actually gotten into more detail than that or any more about it. But hey, Atari's making a console again.
I wonder if it's just going to be like a PC that runs like Linux or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or are they going to create their own system and make it proprietary and then have to have like exclusive titles and all that kind of stuff? Because then we're going to have 4 different systems out there with all exclusive titles, and it's going to be like, well, I got to buy this system for this console and this system for this console, and I got to buy this and this and this and this. That's why I'm mostly just play PC, because I don't have time to keep up with all the exclusives and all the
Atari
different...
Box X Box Atari. Add more X's to it, it'll sound cooler.
Probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So can't wait to see some specs on this. Just media dev jobs. That's all.
Yeah,
Nothing
nothing.
going on here.
That's all they've got is that like kind of teaser thing about it. So
Yep.
I want to talk about this for a minute. So the Han Solo movie that's going to be coming out from the Star Wars sequel, directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller have left after having creative differences about the overall tone of how the young Han Solo movie should go. So in its place, Ron Howard is taking over as the director of the movie, which is kind of like having your seat upgraded from coach to first class for free.
I've got a couple of different feelings about Ron Howard. Now, first off, Ron Howard makes some really epic movies, but he does a really good job with characters. If you guys have seen Rush, I saw it on the airplane, and I was like, whoa, he really kind of hit these characters. I ended up, like, I don't care about F1 at all, but I ended up going and, like, looking up these characters to see what they were, and I was like, wow, he did a really good job of representing sort of what, and looking at these old videos and stuff. So I wonder if he's going to be able to take that and sort of help channel the feeling of the old Han Solo into this. I don't know.
I mean, he's very character driven, so I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I know they kind of brought him in to kind of finish things up, but knowing Ron Howard, he's probably going to go in and be like, well, we're going to need to go fix this scene, and we're going to need to go fix this scene, and we're going to need to go fix this. But basically, it's like the best thing that they could have given them by being like, well, these guys are gone now, so we're going to give you quality instead.
I mean, at the end of it, it's going to say directed by all 3 of them, since they all...
I don't know.
Since already some of it's... Who knows?
They'll probably have to give credit to it, just as long as the words George Lucas don't appear anywhere, they'll be okay.
Well, you don't want to see... What is it, Darth Silius or something?
Darth Icky. Darth Insanius or something
That's what
like
it is?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Darth Icky was one of those two. God damn it, George.
We get a word from Doug here.
All right, let's see what Doug has to say. I'm going to go check on him, actually.
More than 2,500 left-handed people are killed every year from using equipment meant for right-handed people.
Man, that really gets me right here and pulls my heartstrings. I think I've actually hired 80% left-handed people.
I'm left-handed.
You're left-handed?
Yes.
Pistol's left-handed. My old editor was left-handed.
Brian's left-handed, too.
Brian's left-handed.
Yeah.
Josh left-handed? I think Josh is left-handed. I'm right-handed. I think around here it looks like I'm the wrong-handed person. But you guys are all at risk of death from using things like shovels or whatever the hell. People are saying, hey, Google Glass is back. No, it's not. Guys, there's one uber nerd over there. There's one guy running around that's like the edgelord of Google, being like, I'm going to update this thing. And all the glass souls will be happy, and he made an update for it. It's actually pretty nice. You can actually use a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse and stuff now, and the mouse cursor shows up and all that, but the software, other than just the firmware, really has not been updated much, and there's not really any new apps for it or anything like that. The project is still dead. Let's not go make a million articles and talk about how, the Google Glass is back. God, I hope it's not back. All right, let's talk about AMD's EPYC server chips. Now, AMD released their EPYC server chips, and they did, like, it was a big friggin' show, and they talked a lot about their Infinity Fabric, on how the different, groups of CPUs communicate with one another, but it's really just like fancy hypertransport. Anyway, the cool thing about this is these giant CPUs, one of those is outpacing dollar to dollar, outpacing 2 Intel CPUs. Pretty much all the way down the board. You got their little chart right here. And these are the currently available Xeons. They're not the new Xeons that are going to be coming out this year. But it's going to be hard for Intel to compete with this because the AMD's, you know, one chip up to 70% faster than two of the Intel chips. That's pretty ridiculous. And you guys can see the chart right here. But the bottom line here is that AMD is back in the server world. They've been kind of forgotten for a while, and Qualcomm, I guess, a bigger threat to Intel than AMD. But now AMD's coming back in, and stock's starting to go up. I'm sure you're going to see lots of data centers be like, sweet, all this stuff. I think it's like 128 PCI Express ports, or PCI Express lanes, I'm sorry. It doesn't double if you do a dual socket. Half of the channels are used to communicate between the two sockets, but still 128 PCI Express lanes, up to 2 terabytes of RAM. These things are pretty ridiculous. And they've got a frequency advantage on a lot of the Intel products, but not all of them. So I kind of want to play around with one of these EPYCs. I'm sure we'll get one of these when we start working on the Zweihander game, and we'll put it in the closet and let it do some rendering and that sort of stuff. All right, so hacking cars. We've talked about this a few times in the past, but now it's actually a real thing, and it's actually very easy to do. So with the Mazdas out there, you can just use a USB, and just a little SH file or whatever, just a little script. You just plug it in, and you can take over the entire entertainment center, the entire entertainment, whatever. Luckily, it does not take over the car, and it also has to be physically plugged into the USB. But here's the interesting thing here. Yes, cars are going to be hacked, and yes, they're wirelessly going to be hacked, and that's bad. But right here, Mazda's kind of missing out on something. People were going in and hacking the software to make the entertainment suite do whatever they want, and they've gone in and they've tried to shut it down, but they missed an opportunity here. Mazda, you guys could have been like, you know what? We're going to let the community make their own stuff, make their own media center, make their own software for the dashboard, and then see what comes out of that, and just sort of foster it. Make sure that that system is completely closed off and not connected to the other systems. Like, you know, your engine and your battery don't need to be connected to your entertainment center in any way, not through wireless means. I know you need to get speed information and information about fuel and that sort of thing, and there's got to be a way to feed that to your console separately than your entertainment. So that's my idea. But car entertainment centers, from my experience, are very limited, and there's always like 10 things I wish that they could do. But if we had a system where it's like, hey, you guys can come in and modify this, or you can get different software for it, or you can go grab some hacks, I bet that would be something that would drive nerds to want to buy your little barrel of monkeys fun Miata. Couldn't get through an episode without talking about Musk. We got a few Musk articles coming up, and I'm not talking about the stuff that you rub on your body to get yourself lucky on the weekends. You know how they make Musk? I'm not going to tell you. So SpaceX, they've envisioned trips to Mars as cruises. So imagine you're on this really long trip to Mars. Well, you know, Musk is like, we need like a place for them to hang out. We need a restaurant. We need like a movie theater. We need something for them to do on this really long trip, because we need to attract people that are not just the uber billionaires or millionaires who have enough money and want to do this for whatever reason. He wants to attract a bit of a different audience, sort of romanticize it a little bit, and then send people on cruises to Mars. This is like far in the future, but that's sort of the way he's envisioned it. I'm wondering how this will all work. I'm thinking they'll have to build these things or have them already up there. Then you'll take a flight up to like a space station or a space deck, and then transfer onto the cruiser that'll take you over to Mars, where you'll transfer again and then land in a pod or something. I don't know. That's just my guess, but that's kind of an interesting way to get there, since it's such a long journey. All right, speaking of space travel and long journeys, Stephen Hawking is actually working on a spacecraft right now. So he's making a tiny little spacecraft, and the idea is that this spacecraft will be able to go about 1/4 the speed of light, which is way faster than we can travel, but it'll be able to travel to Alpha Centauri in about 20 years, and then from there, it'll be able to beam back images or whatever else in about 5 years. It'll take about 5 years for the light to get back here, so because it'll be shooting a laser back, so that'll go at full speed of light, hence 5 years instead of 20 years, 25-year full turnaround time. He's really kind of pushing humanity to say, like, listen, we've got to start looking outward, because one of the things, as far as the universe being huge, there's maybe some alien life out there, and one of the reasons why we may not have met the aliens is once they get to about the size we are, and the intelligence that we are, or I guess the technological prowess that we are, we destroy ourselves or we destroy our planet, one or the other. Maybe that some of the species out there that are out in the solar system that could have existed or maybe existed, maybe they've done that to themselves and exterminated themselves, or maybe they just existed at a different time. But he's just saying that, as a species, once we start really depleting the resources on our planet, and once our population gets to a certain size, we may need to start thinking about becoming interplanetary. And it's a good time to start right now, because the population growth is exponential. It's not gradual, it's full-on exponential. So we start right now, send this thing out 25 years, and it's probably going to be another 1 to 200 years before we're actually able to send a human all the way to Alpha Centauri. The other thing that's very interesting is we'll be able to study some of Einstein's special theory of relativity, because when it's traveling at that speed, we're going to start to see some of the effects of this in the photographs. So that's also kind of cool. Taking a photograph going that speed is very interesting. 100 million miles an hour, so something like that, yeah. How about just like planetary travel, but really, really fast, and also in a hotel room? So there's some guys here talking about, the whole Hyperloop and everything like that, the really fast travel through tubes. They're thinking like, what if we take 13 big American cities, some on the West Coast, like San Francisco, LA, Seattle, Portland, that sort of thing, some in the middle, and then some on the East Coast, Boston, New York, whatever, and we construct a Hyperloop through some hotels that connect all those cities, and then we allow people to go hang out in their hotel rooms, press a button, and then they zip across the country in their hotel room inside this loop. Now, feasibility studies are, I guess, maybe being done now, but 10, 15 years off before it's going to be possible. But imagine like going to a hotel and being like, all right, I'm in DC, I'm in this hotel, tonight I need to be in LA, but I'm going to hang out in my hotel room and do a bunch of work and then watch a movie in the hotel room. It's a lot cooler than first class, and it's a lot faster than first class, and then take a nap, and then I'll be in LA, whatever. So that could be the future of really high-end travel. Never having to leave your hotel, just sitting down, and there goes your hotel room through a tube. All right, last thing I want to talk about, guys. I usually don't recommend Best Buy stuff, but you guys should take a look at this system that's for sale, because it's AMD Ryzen 5 1400. It's got 8 gigs of memory, and it also has an RX 580. It's only got a regular mechanical hard drive, but all said and done, it's $679. The GPU alone right now is selling for, $400+. So that could be an interesting deal if you guys are up for grabbing that system. If you want to like scavenge some parts, get a Ryzen R5, and then sell the GPU. You've got RAM. You've got, it may end up being a decent deal for you. For only like $179, you're getting the CPU, the hard drive, all that other stuff. That's about the only time I'll ever like go to Best Buy and be like, it's not a bad deal. Speaking of coupons and all that, let me know what you guys are buying on the Steam summer sale. I bought a few things on the GOG summer sale, but let me know what you guys are buying right now. What'd you buy already? Doom and what else? Also, guys, grab some shirts. And new things coming very soon. Yeah, Nikola Tesla shirt. We got a comment on that today out in the town. Someone's like, where'd you get that? And you're like, we made it. So you guys can go there and get it at bigpants.com. And guys, thanks for being awesome. And let me know what you guys think about going back to Tech Syndicate. If everyone all of a sudden was like, no, we're used to crit and I hate it, maybe I'll listen and we'll be like, okay, fine, we'll just leave it alone. But I'm totally fine with going back and just doing our gaming things on the side with our video games and board games and whatever else we make, scratching that itch a different way. So let us know. We'll see you guys in the comments, and later.